Hi everyone, here's a roundup of the top news in Southeast Asia. Strongest typhoon on the planet hits the Philippines. Vietnam begins COVID-19 vaccine trials on monkeys. Former Malaysian Prime Minister Mahathir Mohamad sparks outrage with claim Muslims have right to kill millions of French. My name is Angeline and this is the Daily Watch. The strongest typhoon on the planet this year makes landfall in the eastern Philippines early Sunday. Super Typhoon Goni, locally known as Rolly in the Philippines, is the strongest typhoon to make landfall anywhere on Earth since 2013 Super Typhoon Haiyan, which also made landfall in the Philippines. Officials have evacuated almost 1 million residents in the southern part of the Philippines' main island of Luzon in preparation for the oncoming Category 5 storm. A warlike typhoon preparations will further strain government resources, which have been drained by months of coronavirus outbreaks. The Philippines has the second largest number of confirmed infections in Southeast Asia. The Philippines is lashed by about 20 typhoons and storms a year. It's also located in the so-called Pacific Ring of Fire, where earthquakes and volcanic eruptions are common, and makes the Southeast Asian nation one of the world's most disaster-prone. In other news, Vietnam has started testing its locally made COVID-19 vaccine on monkeys. The vaccine is made by the Hanoi-based vaccine and biological production company number 1, Vabiotech. The result of these trials would be presented before the Health Ministry's Ethical Board within the next 4 months. If experiments show the vaccine does produce effective immunogenicity and provide effective protection against COVID-19. Currently, Vietnam has 4 research institutions working on COVID-19 vaccines: Vabiotech, Polivac, the Institute of Vaccines and Medical Biologicals or IVAC, and Nanogen Pharmaceutical Biotechnology. Of the 4, vaccines by IVAC and Nanogen Pharmaceutical Biotechnology are deemed most promising by the Health Ministry and are expected to complete clinical trials in the final quarter of 2021. Right now, these vaccines are undergoing challenge trials in which results should be available by December. Former Malaysian Prime Minister Mahathir Mohamad sparked an uproar by claiming that Muslims have a right to be angry and kill millions of French people for the massacres of the past. The 95-year-old statesman, who stepped down as leader of the Muslim-majority Southeast Asian nation 8 months ago, posted those words on social media platforms a few hours after a suspected terrorist act at a church in the French city of Nice and after French President Emmanuel Macron angered many in the Islamic world for defending his country's secular tradition and the right to free speech and public remarks related to the caricatures of Prophet Muhammad. Referring to Macron's comments, Mahathir demanded France teach its people to respect others. He also said that he believed in freedom of expression, but that it should not be used to insult others. The Facebook office in Malaysia had taken down Mahathir's posting for violating the social media platform policies, saying they do not allow hate speech on Facebook and strongly condemned any support for violence, death, or physical harm. Meanwhile, tensions in France over caricatures of the Prophet Muhammad between offended Muslims and President Emmanuel Macron's government defending freedom of expression have spilled over into Asia, which also is home to a large Muslim population. The Malaysian government summoned the French deputy ambassador to respond to Macron's remarks. The Foreign Affairs Ministry said it had used the meeting to reiterate Malaysia's position condemning any inflammatory rhetoric and provocative acts that defamed Islam. The Foreign Ministry of Indonesia, the world's largest Muslim-majority nation, summoned the French ambassador as well to voice its concerns about Macron's stand on the satirical cartoons and his defense of freedom of speech, where they conveyed their condemnation of the French president's remarks that were insulting to Islam. That's it for today. If you liked today's video or learned anything new, press the like button, subscribe and ring the bell to get the latest news from the Daily Watch. See you next time!